Hello there, I'm Helena Krishnamurthy and thanks for joining me this Sunday on 7Edition. The headlines. Man faces death penalty for murdering 2-year-old stepson. Drug gang busted, 3.2 million ringgit worth of various drugs seized. And China tariffs on $60 billion worth of US goods takes effect. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. Police in Johor arrested 3 drug traffickers and seized drugs worth 3.2 million ringgit in 4 separate raids around the city 2 days ago. Johor Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Khalil Kadir Muhammad said the raids were the result of a collaboration between the Johor and Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Departments after detecting the gang's activities 5 months ago. The 3 men, aged between 27 and 31, are believed to be the masterminds of the syndicate. They were arrested in 3 separate places in Taman Mount Austin, Kulai Toll Plaza and in Taman Desa Tebrau. The raids also saw thousands of pills as well as powder and liquid of various drugs seized. Apart from drugs, a Mercedes-Benz, a Toyota Vios, a chain, 2 rings, Rolex and Casio watches and cash amounting 2,350 ringgit. Police believe the drugs were meant for the international and local markets and were obtained from a northern state. So far, the police are not denying the possibility that the state of Johor was being planned as a transit point for the drug syndicate.
Sekarang ni mereka syndicate ni dia sedang test ground. Jadi boleh tak Johor jadi transit. So untuk tahun ini kita dah hit 6 kali. I think it's a big blow to them also. Kita dah hit 6 kali. Ini adalah kejayaan yang ke-6. Kejayaan ke-6 bagi transaksi yang begininya besar.
According to Datuk Muhammad Khalil, 2 of the suspects tested positive for drugs and all 3 have passed criminal records. The suspects have been remanded until June 7th to facilitate investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. An unemployed man was charged at the Gurun Magistrates Court today with the murder of his 2-year-old stepson in Yan Kedah last month. The accused, 28-year-old Sofiuddin Abu Bakar, nodded in understanding when the charge was read to him before Magistrate Nurul Rashida Muhammad Akid. However, no plea was recorded. According to the charge sheet, the man was alleged to have killed Muhammad Akil Hairi Muhammad Azrul at a house on Jalan Yan Guar, Cempedak on May 25th. He faces the mandatory death penalty upon conviction. Meanwhile, at the same court, his wife, 23-year-old Nurul Natasha Roslan, the biological mother of the boy, was released on a bail bond of 10,000 ringgit. The couple were arrested on May 27th to facilitate an investigation into the death of the 2-year-old, who is believed to have been abused. The court set August 5th for re-mention. Elsewhere, 2 Datots and a lawyer were charged with 27 counts of document forgery-related offences. The accused were Johor Police Volunteer Reserve Commandant Datuk Lee Ban Heng, Chairman of a Chamber of Commerce, Datuk Chong Chi Heng and lawyer Danny Lu Keng Sun. Datuk Chong and Datuk Lee were accused of forging dozens of private caveat retraction documents on 27 lots of lands at Mukim Plentong 4 years ago, while Liu was accused of conspiring with them. The trio pleaded not guilty to the charges when it was read before Magistrate Rashida Baharom today. Magistrate Rashida set June 17 for the next mention of the case and document submission. 37 women from Thailand and Cambodia were detained early this morning after an anti-vice raid on a Subang Jaya entertainment outlet. 3 Bangladeshis and 1 local man believed to be the caretaker of the premises were also held. The entertainment outlet was allegedly hosting stage shows parading women to attract customers. Patrons would also get to bid their favorite by giving her a crown worth 1,000 ringgit. According to the Selangor Anti-Vice Gaming and Secret Society Crime Division, some of those detained were found to have entered the country using social visit passes. All those arrested have been taken to the Subang Jaya Police Headquarters for further action. A 10-year-old boy could be blinded permanently following a firecracker mishap at Kampong Panji in Pekan Pahang yesterday evening. It is understood that the boy had placed the firecracker, a merchant bola, in a metal tin container after lighting it up. The boy decided to check on it when it didn't explode, and as soon as he brought it up to his face, the firecracker exploded and severely injured his right eye, nose and cheek. He was then rushed to the hospital for treatment. A spokesman for the Kuantan hospital said the boy is suffering from serious injuries with fragments of metal tin lodged in his badly damaged right eye with little to no hope of recovery. The merchant bola, a small round firecracker, has been described by the authorities as among the more dangerous types of banned firecrackers due to its explosive power. Now, with Hari Raya Aidilfitri around the corner, the Malay Peninsular Malaysia Express Bus Entrepreneurs Association, or Pembawa, has assured a safe and convenient balik kampung trip for its more than 1 million passengers. Its president said over 600 buses registered under the association are in tip-top condition, in compliance with regulations and are equipped with GPS.
Dan kita di sini hari adalah untuk melihat agar semua keadaan bas dalam keadaan baik dan selamat serta penumpang dapat pergi dan balik dengan selamatnya. Kita mempunyai 600 buah bas di bawah Pembawa dan 18 syarikat.
Some 1 million people are expected to travel via buses registered with the association during the festive season. Tajuddin said over 25,000 people use the bus services per day in Peninsular Malaysia. He also said bus drivers have been sternly reminded to observe the speed limit, failing which the passengers are advised to lodge a complaint. Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi Awang and Datuk Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man will remain as past President and Deputy President respectively. Past Secretary General Datuk Taqiyuddin Hassan said this was after both positions went uncontested following the May 27th nomination deadline. However, he said several new faces are set to contest for the party's 3 vice president posts, which will be officially announced soon.
Setakat ini saya boleh mengesahkan ada pencalonan lah untuk jawatan naib presiden dan juga ahli jawatankuasa. Untuk timbalan dengan presiden itu tidak ada pertandingan. Jadi ada pencalonan untuk lebih daripada 3 orang untuk naib presiden, tapi kita belum tahu lagi lah sama ada pertandingan ataupun tidak.
Datuk Taqiyuddin said over 8,000 representatives are expected to attend the 65th PAS Muktamar scheduled to be held from June 21st to 23rd in Kuantan, Pahang. The annual convention will also see elections for posts at the central level to be held on June 21st. When we return, Priest gets backlash for giving free bubur lambo. Don't go away. Welcome back. Children in colourful outfits sing in a Creole of Portuguese and Malay during a class in the historic city of Malacca as part of efforts to stem the decline of the centuries-old language. Sarah Frederica Santa Maria runs the weekly classes at her home to ensure the younger generation learn Papia Kristang, one of several initiatives aimed at preserving an endangered language spoken by people of mixed Portuguese and Malaysian ancestry. 50-year-old Sarah fears that Kristang could disappear, as many Eurasians have moved out of the settlement and the children only speak Malay and English.
Well, I do get some people who come and tell me that, what's the reason, what's the point? Why you want to teach the language? Who are they going to speak to? So I said they can speak to their mother, their grandmother. At least let the language be at home. If it doesn't want to go out of Malacca, it's okay, I said, but at home, be in your house.
The dancing and laughing youngsters dressed in Portuguese-style traditional costumes surely seem to be enjoying the lessons.
I want to learn Kristang because I don't want my culture to die. Kristang is fun to learn because I can speak to my friend that is in the Portuguese settlement.
Kristang developed after the Portuguese took over the strategic port city on the Straits of Malacca about 500 years ago, where colonizers married local women. The Creole has a large Portuguese vocabulary, but its grammatical structure is similar to Malay and is also influenced by Chinese and Indian languages. The language is not part of the school curriculum, and the Eurasian community has been steadily assimilated into the broader Malay-speaking community. Kristang is also spoken by tiny communities in Singapore and Australia due to migration, but has been in decline for years. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Bubuk lambo or rice porridge is surely a familiar food in Ramadan, as it will be prepared in batches in huge pots and are cooked daily to feed Muslims for the breaking of fast. It is also not a surprise for non-Muslims to get involved in distributing bubur lambo, as Malaysians always strive to be in harmony of each other's culture. However, a Facebook user recently condemned a priest in Malacca for distributing bubur lambo for Muslims. The story went viral on both Facebook and Twitter, where it saw slews of netizens taking sides on the issue. The man started to make fun of the group of priests who were holding bubur lambo before they distributed them. Things got worse when his followers did not just agree with him, but also accused the priests of mixing non-halal food inside the porridge. Meanwhile, a Twitter user known as Mahathir saw the priests' action under a different light, tweeting out his gratitude to them while finding it difficult how such positive actions were made into an issue. Replying in the thread, he stood by his opinion, saying that it is best not to slander people in this holy month. What more non-Muslims as the priests are doing us a favor indeed. His 2 cents has since attracted thousands of people who responded and voiced their disgust at the comments. Some agree that it is unbelievable how there are certain individuals who still cannot accept the fact that we are living in a multicultural country. The African Relief Committee, ARC, is calling on Muslim nations to pitch in with the much-needed humanitarian aid in poverty-stricken Somaliland. The self-declared state, whose predominantly Muslim population has been grappling with drought for 9 consecutive months, is in dire need of foreign assistance. ARC founder Ibrahim Nurjama said some 70% of Somalilanders are hardcore poor, who live in makeshift tents made out of tarpaulin sheets and worn-out clothes. He said the months-long drought bodes ill for these Somalilanders, many of whom are unemployed as the situation leaves them up the creek without a paddle.
هذه المساعدة وهي بين التعاون بين المنظمة الإنسانية الماليزية وبين منظمة لجنة أفريقيا للإغاثة التي هي دائما عندها مشاريع كبيرة مثل مشاريع كفالة الأيتام وتقديم المساعدات. ضربنا نداء عام للأمة الإسلامية وخاصة الشعب الماليزي والمنظمات الإنسانية الماليزية تقديم شعب إخوانهم بأي مساعدة لأنهم محتاجين. كما أنا قلت لك ليس هناك الدعم الحكومي لأن الحكومة اللي هي الحمد لله هي تعمل لكن ليس عندها.
Somaliland has been a self-governing region of Somalia for more than 2 decades, but its claim of independence is not recognized by the latter or any foreign government. Meanwhile, Humanitarian Care Malaysia, or MyCare, has embarked on a 6-day humanitarian mission in the African region to deliver food packs such as rice, flour and cooking oils. MyCare, through its recently launched My Ramadan campaign, aims to raise 3.5 million ringgit during the month of Ramadan and Shawwal to help the underprivileged Muslim community in several countries this year. Apart from Somaliland, the non-profit organization plans to channel the aid to Palestinians and refugee camps in Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Yemen and Bangladesh. IOI Group founder and executive chairman Tan Sri Lee Shin Cheng has died just 2 days before his 80th birthday on Monday, after which he planned to retire. IOI Corporation Berhad and IOI Properties Group Berhad, in a joint media statement today, announced that Tan Sri Lee passed away peacefully yesterday after a period of illness. He leaves behind his wife, 6 children and 12 grandchildren.
The tycoon formed IOI in 1969 before diving into the palm oil business in 1983 and property development a year later. His companies now have operations in 8 countries across Asia, Africa, Europe and the US. He was listed by Forbes as the 5th richest man in Malaysia for 2018 with a net worth of $5.4 billion. Tan Sri Lee was the patron and advisor of many communities and business associations in Malaysia. Among his most notable contributions was leading the redevelopment of the 111-year-old Kuen Cheng Secondary School as the chairman of its board of directors over the last 20 years.
Coming up, Liverpool trashes Tottenham to win Champions League. Details next. Hello again. Today marked the official opening of the Kuala Terengganu-Kuala Neros drawbridge, which saw tourists and locals alike converge in droves to witness the historic occasion. Thousands of vehicles crossed the iconic bridge, the first in Southeast Asia, as it began operations for a 15-day trial period in conjunction with Aidilfitri celebrations.
Visitors gathered in the surrounding area as early as 6 a.m. while waiting for the 638-meter bridge to open at 7. Numerous vehicles were seen parked at the entry points of both sides of the bridge, with some reportedly having spent the night in their cars for the occasion.
Lepas main support ni, kita main sini dalam pukul 10 suku gitu lah.
Sebab apa orang nak wari ni?
Kita nak ada pertama nak atas dua bridge ni.
Dia nak cerita sejarah.
Nak cerita sejarah.
Saya gembira teruja untuk dapat sekiranya kita boleh morning walk dekat atas jambatan kan, tapi nampak gayanya hari ni tak boleh berjalan atas jambatan. So kita tengok daripada jauh dan tengok macam mana ini sesuatu yang baru kepada orang Terengganu. Kita harapkan ia menjadi daya tarikan lah kepada orang lokal dan juga pelancong asing.
State Secretary Dato' A. Rahman Yahya said only vehicles are allowed to cross the bridge during the trial period. The temporary opening of the bridge is part of the accreditation process, which assesses the overall road performance, including its coordination and signalling system.
Untuk maklumat semua, pengujian ini adalah untuk menentukan sama ada jambatan yang kita bina ini dapat menampung dan memerlukan tambahbaikan kepada apa yang telah kita buat. Dan untuk maklumat semua, jambatan kita ini sebagaimana kita maklum satu ikon baru kepada pelancongan negeri Terengganu, di mana jambatan ini mempunyai baskular yang terpanjang di dunia dengan 76 meter.
The 248 million ringgit bridge, which has 2 16-story towers, is the 4th bridge that connects Kuala Terengganu with Kuala Neros. It's expected to cut travelling time between the city in the south and Sultan Mahmud Airport in Seberang Takir on a 4-lane coastal road at the north bank by about 15 minutes.
Onto the foreign front, China on Saturday kicked off retaliatory tariffs on billions worth of US goods as it prepares to unveil a blacklist of unreliable foreign companies that analysts say aims to punish the US and foreign firms cutting off supplies to telecoms giant Huawei. Beijing's move hits $60 billion worth of US goods with new punitive tariffs ranging from 5 to 25% and comes in retaliation for Washington raising duty on $200 billion in Chinese goods to 25%.
正如最近美国对我们发动的经贸摩擦，要谈大门敞开，要打奉陪到底。
Now, Washington and Beijing resumed their trade battle last month when trade talks in the US ended without a deal, with US negotiators accusing Chinese negotiators of backing out on previous commitments. The countries have exchanged tariffs on $360 billion in the two-way trade so far. The tit-for-tat tariff war has been upstaged in recent weeks by Washington's move to blacklist Chinese tech giant Huawei, over national security concerns, threatening the firm's global ambitions. One person was killed and 17 others wounded on Sunday in 3 successive blasts in the Afghanistan capital. This is the latest in a series of deadly car bombs and suicide explosions to rock the country around the Muslim holy month of Ramadan and Eid. Among the wounded was an Afghan journalist who appeared to have been live streaming the aftermath of the first explosion when a second bomb went off. The event started with the detonation of a sticky bomb, where insurgents and criminals slapped magnetic bombs on the underside of vehicles. According to authorities, the device had been placed under a bus carrying officials headed to the Kabul Education University. In the immediate aftermath, 2 more bombs that had been planted by the side of the road went off. So far, there was no immediate claim of responsibility, but both the Taliban and the Daesh group were responsible over recent blasts. Although the Taliban and the US are set to begin a new round of peace talks in Doha this month, violence across Afghanistan continues unabated, with civilians often bearing the brunt of the bloodshed. On Friday, a Taliban car bomber killed at least 4 Afghan civilians and lightly wounded 4 US troops in an attack on a US convoy. 2 bombings hit Syria's northern Raqqa city on Saturday, killing at least 10 and wounding 20 others. Among the victims were 5 civilians and 5 soldiers, while the injured were treated at a nearby hospital. The first explosion was caused by a landmine that exploded in the Basel Street in the central part of the city. As the people gathered to see what happened, the second explosion occurred when a car bomb went off. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, both explosions hit near a command center of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces. So far, no one claimed responsibility for the attack. In April, a double bombing claim by Daesh killed 13 people, mostly civilians. Now the UEFA Champions League, Mohamed Salah scored one of the fastest ever goals in the final, and Divock Origi struck late as Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspurs 2-0 in Madrid, Spain on Sunday. This further cements their status as one of football's most storied clubs after winning the trophy for the 6th time. Less than 2 minutes had been played when Salah smashed in his spot kick to secure the team's first goal. The heart-skipping match then saw Alisson Becker make several confident saves in the latter stages before substitute Origi drilled in the killer second in the 87th minute. Liverpool made up for their defeat in last year's final against Real Madrid and the deflation of missing out on the Premier League title to Manchester City. The match saw Salah redeeming himself after injury ruined his night against Real in Kiev, as well as Jurgen Klopp having his first trophy as Liverpool manager, 3.5 years on from his arrival at the club. Liverpool now has more European Cups than Barcelona or Bayern Munich and twice as many as their great rivals Manchester United. That wraps up 7Edition this evening. We leave you with visuals of children in Pyongyang, North Korea taking part in various sport activities in conjunction with their annual International Children's Day celebration. With that, I'm Helena Krishnamurthy. Thanks for tuning in and have a good night.